we think and we believe we are the solution. I've heard for the last 3 days when I spoke with different young people here about how, as young African, are we able to create jobs, to be leaders of industries, to be captain of our companies. And I heard that some of us, we are still afraid because we lack experience. Do you think that we need experience in order to become successful entrepreneur, a great person in the world? Who thinks so? Yes? We need experience? We don't need? I think this is the first conversation and experience we are going to share now. While we are waiting for our guests of honor, there's Madame here said, you need experience, Madame? Okay, this is another question. That's good. Who is against that? Who think that we need experience in order to become successful entrepreneur or a greater person in this world? Do you think, Madam? Oh, she said, oh, sorry. Let me just first ask. We have simultaneous translation there. We'll be moving from English to French. So, let me ask our protocol.
Je suis là pour le français.
She's here for French. Okay, that's fine. But we need
Bonsoir
just
tout le monde.
people.
Bon après-midi. Aujourd'hui, même les francophones, ils peuvent profiter de la session Youth Converse.
Okay, first, you know, when we have such beautiful lady, I have to be very humbled to present to you who's the ladies in front of you. Do you know her? No, you don't know her? Yes, please. Okay. You want to hear her voice? Okay. Madam President, can you present yourself, please?
My name is Gloria Nishimwe, and I'm National President of Junior Chamber International Rwanda. Je m'appelle Luce Gloria Nishimwe et je suis la présidente nationale de la Jeune Chambre internationale du Rwanda. Vous connaissez la Jeune Chambre? Vous ne connaissez pas la Jeune Chambre? Oh, mais vous avez beaucoup raté.
Only the t-shirt.
Ok, je vous explique un peu. La Jeune Chambre est un réseau de jeunes professionnels, de jeunes étudiants universitaires, de jeunes entrepreneurs entre 18 et 40 ans. Et notre mission est d'offrir les opportunités pour créer un impact dans notre communauté. Nous sommes des jeunes convaincus que nous sommes la solution aux problèmes qui se posent dans notre communauté. Alors, il vous a parlé qu'il est sénateur. Sénateur JCI.
Ouais.
Qui connaît ici, sénateur JCI? Fabrice Chema is JCI senator. Sénateur JCI, ça veut dire un membre exceptionnel qui a fait des actions, qui a inspiré les autres. Et dans notre organisation, on décide de lui attribuer un titre de sénateur pour qu'il soit membre à vie, parce qu'il incarne la dynamique d'un jeune membre de JCI.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. But to tell you more about JCI, I want to ask our media there to give 1-minute video to be really in the mood because the things we are going to talk right now, I know it will be inspiring. And every and each one of you here today will have a good feeling that after moving on this session, you will ask, how should I join JCI? Because we have very inspiring speakers, and most of them, I think, they put in their heart the JCI spirit. Please, have a video.
At JCI, we believe young people have the power to create positive change in the world. But the question is, how? To start, we ask, what are the greatest challenges in our communities? We work with our leaders and neighbors to discover the root of problems around us. We figure out how to design solutions that will last, and then we take action. First, citizens must be healthy. By fighting disease, growing nourishing food, and offering affordable health care, we can all live up to our potential. Education is the foundation of economic opportunity. By empowering every citizen to learn and find work, society progresses. We have a responsibility to leave a healthy planet for our children, so we must protect our resources and create a sustainable way of life. To be effective, we need a strong team. So, throughout the initiative, we engage partners from all sectors to help reach our goals. Along the way, we measure our results and evaluate our impact so we can prove our success. This is the JCI Active Citizen Framework. This is our roadmap to change the world.
And we at JCI. So, back to the discussion now. I want to interact with some of you here. Gentleman, he's a friend of mine. It's called Kusa. Tell me, is young people need experience or not?
So I want to echo what my colleague here said, in the sense that experience is needed. But when people say, especially young people, when they go out in the working place, they're like, oh, these jobs are all requiring an experience. And I think the issue is they don't realize that they've actually they have experience already in going through a lot of things in their life. So sometimes I'll tell a story that happened to me very recently. A young lady was very nervous. She was like, I've never organized an event, and this is the first event I'm organizing, so I was coaching her into organizing an event. And I was like, but have you ever participated in a bridal shower? And she was like, of course I've participated in a bridal shower. Were you organizing something in the bridal shower? And I said, yeah, I was collecting the money, I was collecting, all these things to make it happen. Now I'm like, don't you think that is experience? And she's like, yeah, of course it's experience. So what's so different from this? So from that example, I was like, well, now people think, okay, but I can now put a bridal shower on my CV. I was like, yes, that's true. But then look at the things that happen in your schools. If you're fortunate enough to have an education, that means you're going to be part of clubs. If there are no clubs, you create clubs. And this is what JCI Rwanda is, really. JCI in general. It's a club of people who join together and do an activity to solve a problem. So when you think of these groups that you have at school, these are some things that you can put on your CV, and this is experience that gets you out there and you have something to talk about. You've organized events, you've organized fundraisers, you've organized different things, and this is anybody who's at university, who's in a high school. I would even go back all the way back into primary. You can always do something that gives you experience without being stuck and thinking, oh, if I go out there and I'm not experienced, I'm not going to get a job. So experience is needed for being a successful professional and being a successful entrepreneur. So thank you.
Gloria?
Il a parlé de la femme. Et si on demandait l'avis à une femme? Mademoiselle? Est-ce que vous pensez que l'expérience est primordiale pour être un bon entrepreneur ou professionnel?
Thank you, but the experience is not essentially needed to be a successful or entrepreneur or profession. As we are in Youth Connect, we are connecting, we are networking, we are learning, we are taking the lead. The first initiative or tips to successful entrepreneur profession is that having the passion of what you want to do to start. There is no need of other experience. Let's say graduate student, while they are still in their taking their education, they have some practice, internship, and then after their studies, they are able to be a good professional or a success entrepreneurs without taking like 1 year of experience. And most of African countries, the private sectors used to, while hiring the employers, they used to ask for experience like 1 year, 3 years, whereas through to the passion of young African youths they have while analyzing the business ideas, they learn through to planning, they make market assessment so that they can be a success through to their business idea. Thank you.
Merci. Et vous vous appelez comment?
My name is Clementine. I'm from JC Rwanda.
Okay, I think we need to move. Why JC only speak here? We have other young people from Africa. Where are they? Ah, they are here. Okay. Are you against or not?
I'm not against. I want to clarify something. Okay, thank you. I'm Solomon from South Africa. And I thank the MC for the opportunity. I want to say something. I fully agreed with the sister here when she said in Africa, especially, we do not need experience, I think. Once you have education, you can do something. Why am I saying that? It's because I've seen in Africa uneducated people with their passion becoming millionaires, not millionaire, millionaires. They are a lot. We cannot number them. Why I'm saying that is, once you have an idea and you have a love to what you want to do, it will force you to learn and do research on what you want to do. And once you have that in you, it will push you to reach your goals, which does not need experience, but it forces you to do more research for you to achieve your goals. That is the first thing. Second thing, this is the third day, I've heard brothers, sisters complaining about the funds to start a business which does not require experience to get how to get funds or anything. I will go to my experience. I went to school. My parents had no money. I started paying my school fees from grade 9. I had no parent to pay for me. And after that, the life which I was going through was my experience already. So when I went through that, I got employed with Group 5 company. But then, because I was already used to business, I forced myself to resign and open my own company, which I'll be independent. I started in 2014 with nothing, but the money which I had for salary, I bought an Hilux double cab bag. And at school, I was taught that I could do certain things which I can do on my own. And I started consulting. With the same Hilux buggy, I was able to buy TLBs and excavators which I have today. So I had a goal, and with the little experience I had, I was able to build the business which I have today. So thank you for that. There's no need for experience.
Thank you. So, another one in the middle there. What do you think? Are you for experience or are you against experience?
Hi, my name is Stephen Moraga. I'm a Zimbabwean based in Zambia. I'm a member of JCI Zambia. First, I want to concede that you don't necessarily need to have done something for you to be able to do it perfectly or successfully. As in this case, a young guy who has just graduated to start to do a job for the first time, it's not really necessary to have worked before. I know, I admit that many organizations, they use that as a criteria when selecting. It's to their loss, because at the end of the day, they will have recycled people who have worked there, got fired, or they left. It's to their loss. But also, I want to assert that we can't run away from experience. Experience is essential, it's very important, and nobody can say, I don't have experience. We are all products of experience, one way or the other. I'll give you a simple example. When your mother was pregnant, when you were an embryo, I don't know how to pronounce it. Your mom had to get, you started benefiting from experience when older women would teach your mom how to preserve the pregnancy, to walk, everything. So everybody has got experience. Experience is important, and I would like an experience to road signs. It's more like road signs. Imagine if there are no road signs around here, there will be chaos. I know the border between Rwanda and Tanzania there. There is a signpost which tells you Kigali. The signpost can never be to Kigali. It will never be in Kigali, but it will point you there. So experience is important, but there should be a balance. Organizations, or if there's organizations which are hiring, there should be a balance where you look for fresh ideas, innovative ideas, and combine also with experience. This is my view, and I believe that everybody has experience. Experience comes in different forms. A degree, education is experience. You are learning. You are studying books which were written by other people. They have shared their experiences, and you are learning from those experiences. So experience is key. Let's not mislead each other that we don't need experience, but we have experience in a way. Thank you.
On va faire le tour. De l'autre côté.
Good morning. My name is Biomiro Stefan. I'm from Angola, and yeah. Okay. My name is Biomiro Stefan. I'm from Angola. I don't speak very well English, even French, but I will speak in good. My friend here will help me.
Un peu plus fort.
Again. Yeah. My name is Biomiro Stefan. I'm from Angola. I don't speak very well English, and I don't speak very well French. Je suis Angolais. And my friend here will help me. Okay. Falando sobre a experiência, é necessário nós termos em conta ou focarmos no contexto. Isso é o que é o mais importante.
I'm Miguel, by the way. It was saying that to talk about experience, we have to think about the context, because that's an important thing as well.
Se nós estamos a falar sobre estudar, estamos a falar sobre empreender, estamos a falar sobre trabalhar, nós temos que olhar para o contexto. Vamos lá ver o seguinte. Elon Musk, que é um bilionário norte-americano, disse o seguinte. Numa entrevista perguntaram-lhe como é que nós podemos ter sucesso. Ele disse através da experiência. Depois perguntaram como é que nós podemos ter experiência. E ele disse fazendo coisas boas, ou seja, acertando. Ok. Deixa eu terminar essa parte. acertando. E como é que nós acertamos sempre? Elon Musk disse, fazendo, aliás, cometendo erros. Yeah.
Okay. Fiquei perdido, então deixa eu repetir. Okay, you were still saying about the contest, and you gave an example about Elon Musk.
Estava numa entrevista
Elon Musk was on an interview,
e perguntaram como é que ele podia ter sucesso.
and they asked him about how he could have success.
Yeah. E ele disse, com a experiência.
And he said, through experience. In order to have success, you have to have experience.
Depois perguntaram como é que nós conseguimos a experiência.
And then they asked him, how did we get the experience?
Ele disse, acertando sempre, fazendo boas decisões, tendo boas decisões.
He said that you get experience through making the right decisions.
Depois perguntaram como é que nós conseguimos ter sempre as melhores decisões.
And then they asked him, how do we always make the right decisions?
Ele disse, cometendo sempre erros.
And he said, through making mistakes.
Resumindo e concluindo,
Ce qui est bien à la Jeune Chambre internationale, c'est que nous sommes des jeunes qui viennent de partout dans le monde. Nous sommes dans 120 pays et nous parlons des langues différentes. Ce qui est important, c'est avoir une même vision et pouvoir s'exprimer. Bravo et je félicite ton ami de nous avoir partagé tes idées. Hein. Je veux un peu poser la question, et sur l'autre continent, par exemple. On veut toujours aller travailler en Europe, hein, n'est-ce pas? Je voudrais savoir, en Europe, ce qu'ils en pensent.
Good afternoon. Bon après-midi. Je suis de la Belgique. I am from Belgium. My name is Peter. And I would like to share the point of view of an employer. I like the idea of having experience, yes. And the older you get, the more experience you get. But I'm working in one of the most old-fashioned industries in the world, which is insurance industry, where we still do the things like 100 years ago. And the only way we can survive and be ready for the future is when we allow young people to enter the company. We need innovation, we need creativity, and we need people who are unspoiled, who have fresh ideas, and who can frame the future for us. Because, do you know Albert Einstein? Yes. Yeah. Albert Einstein, he said, yes. Insanity is doing the things year after year, always again. We do the same after again. What we need to do is to change. Because if you do the same as yesterday, you cannot expect different results. So this is why this is a call for young people. Just knock on the door very hard, because there are always employers who need talent, who need creativity, innovation, because this is the only way for future companies to make themselves ready for the future. Thank you.
Thank you,
Merci,
Peter.
Je vais aussi aller sur un autre continent. Madame.
Hello, I'm Bobe from Korea. I just wanted to emphasize that you talk about opportunity, education, or mistake, but like those are privileged, only allowed to certain class of youth nowadays. So I don't want you to get fooled by this success story. Even our ambassador talk about Korea has developed a lot, successful story whatsoever. But many youth in Korea, especially female youth, are still suffering. And then when you talk about education, it's privileged. And when you talk about experience, it's privileged. When you are doing internship, no one can afford to do internship, Or, I'm doing internship at international agencies, but I get funded by my government. So in that way, only people from developed country can be doing internship in international organizations. In that way, even this experience, opportunity you talk about, is only allowed to few really high-class youth. But even this entrepreneur from South Africa or whatsoever, you're in South Africa, which has middle-class people who can buy your product. But if you are from Malawi, you cannot make a mistake. You cannot just open a business because people don't have money to buy your product there. So are we here to talk about few successful stories, or are we talking about making this environment all the youth have right and then equality to go for this youth opportunity experience? Especially I'm really getting sick of this male youth talk about opportunity. You have a mistake or whatsoever, but as a female, we are always suffering of inequality, especially when you are really young female youth from everywhere in the world. So let's not forget, let's not fooled by this successful story. And I want you to, like this businessman, you talk about like, come here, knock the door. When you're opening this door, a little bit to certain male educated high class youth. I don't think you can say that out loud. You need to open this door. You need to pay all the interns or employees equally, female or male. Then we can talk about this youth, you know, the policymakers, all those things. We talk about in Korea, you are gonna hear that we solve this youth unemployment. But then when you look at the quality of this youth employment, it's always temporary job, it's internship, it's volunteers. Are we happy with that? I don't think so. So we need to be first reality, look at what they're actually talking about. Don't get fooled by these developed countries like blah blahing, like, oh, we are successful, our youth is okay. I'm not okay, you know, I'm not okay. I'm pretty sure you're not okay with this. So if this successful story not come from every single of us, we don't take for that, we don't get fooled by it. So we need to insist that this successful story, all of us deserve it, you know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think this is a kind of warm-up of this session.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, there's someone there? Okay, madam. Pleasure. Let me give you an opportunity to speak. Just go ahead, please.
A microphone came in front of me, so I took it. It's opportunity, you're right. And especially for women, because we have to fight hard. So you imagine my nationality, I'm a Canadian, very feminist. So no, I'm joking. Just to answer to the lady, yes, somewhere she's right, but again and again in Rwanda it's different. Because we have met businessmen asking for the youth to do internship, whatever your background. Hi, how are you? And South Africa. And whatever your background. So it's not only, I agree with you, the lady, but it's not only for privileged and rich children or students, sorry. But I think we have met people in Rwanda here and entrepreneurs that have asked, please, can you send us interns? Although they are in the energy economy or whatever. But I think now it's time for the university to begin in the first year. Whatever your discipline, if it's in law, instead of waiting the end of your bachelor, of your master, you begin in the first year and you go in the market where you are. Whatever your background, if you are from a rich family or not a rich family. In the university in Rwanda, everybody is working hard, even the students themselves, to have their own fee, to pay themselves their own fee. So in the first year, you can reorganize that with the university. You youth, you need to speak out and see your minister and see the government to say, you know what, we are too much disconnected from the marketplace. We want to have internship in the first year of the university. You will see a very big difference. And it is possible in Rwanda. We have a president here who is very open for that. He wants to help the youth. Let's begin by this country. And the other one, when they will see that it is working, then you will be able to lobby your government to say, enough is enough. Theory is not enough to feed our belly. We need at the end, from the first year, really, I encourage you really to do that from the first year, whatever your faculty. Ask for internship from the first year.
Thank you so much. I think this is a great intervention and should be one of our resolutions for this session. We need young people who are engaged from the first year of university to share their experience and to learn from the marketplace. I know this session can go and go, but we have a very good surprise for you guys. Have you seen in the program, we have 9 inspiring young Africans. I want to take time and just to cut this session short, I know we still have some hands up there and there. We are not going to finish. Allow me to use my time on the proper way. And we'll still have a session of question and answer. How young people should respond to the world. How young people should be part of the boosting and industrious young Africa. Do you allow me to continue? Yes. And I think I have to thank also Madam President for being part of this warm-up session. This was just a warm-up. Now we are going to start with the great session. Allow me with our first speaker today. She's young. She's 27 years old. She holds a bachelor degree in creativity and environment. She's the co-founder and the CEO of Uzuri K&Y. Since 2013, she had a great vision, how to brand Africa as an origin of fashion items and spread it to the world. Please welcome on stage, Mrs. Kevin Kajirimundo.
I know you heard some rumors. I'm a bad boy with a cool.
And she has an energy to dance as well. I think she can dance.
Every night getting drunk too much. It'll be great, no delay. Just loving my life. Maybe if you don't go, you be my loco. You're the best when you're west. Move to the best, don't stress. Too much, too much, too much, too much. I wanna love you too much. Too much, too much, too much, too much.
She's ready.
Je n'entends pas les mains des jeunes. Hein?
Oh, désolée, je vais bonjour tout le monde. Je voulais juste dire bonjour, un bonjour spécial aux francophones. Mais je vais faire mon discours en anglais. Ok, merci beaucoup. My name is Kevin Kajirimundu. I am the co-founder and CEO of Uzuri K&Y, an African-inspired eco-shoe brand. It's an eco-friendly shoe brand established in Rwanda since 2013. And within 6 years, we have made a direct impact on over 750 people through skills and employment. We continue to count and create an impact in our communities. We have been awarded the Best Made in Rwanda Enterprise of the Year 2017 by the Rwanda Development Board. And just recently, we were nominated among 10 finalists of the Jack Ma Foundation African Heroes. Today, I would like to share with you my story of passion, but pretty much, I just want to pick up from where they were heading to experience. Unfortunately, I disagree with so many people who say they don't need experience. I really think we need experience no matter where it's coming from, no matter how you obtained it. You don't have to get experience from Radisson Blu. You don't have to get experience from big companies. You just need a little bit of learning as you grow within your own environment. You don't have to have a company by then. You just, everything you're going through, just take it as a lesson. So my story, As I was growing up, I was really passionate about fashion, and I really wanted very much to create jobs for my community, because I just realized that if I did something for myself, it wouldn't help as much as if I was doing it with my people. So I joined university to learn civil engineering, which I changed to creative design so that I can pursue my dream of fashion. There I met my business partner, Isolde. She's busy running things as I'm speaking here. And together we engaged in deep conversations, and we realized that it was amazing to put together ideas so that we can create Uzuri. And we envisioned it as a brand that changes the narrative of Africa in terms of fashion. We're not just creating a product, we're not just creating shoes, we're creating a product that is going to tell a story of Africa, an eco-friendly brand inspired by our Rwandan economy, which is sustainable economy. And while we're doing it, of course, we went through so much, from having an idea to talking to people, different people who wanted to learn about it, but at the same time being discouraged and having challenges of finding maybe the biggest challenge that we faced from the beginning was skills labor. As the gentleman says right there, we did not have anyone who was willing to actually say, hey, let me work with you and make the shoes with you, because we're actually calling them, hey, let's use recycled tire to create a footwear brand. And everybody wasn't really ready to work with us. So we needed to start training our own people. That's how our idea of training people started. And then from one person to employing more than 50 people now, to having stores in the country and selling all over the world, and being able to actually brand our country in the region as an origin of fashion items. Through that journey, we had to obtain experience while we were doing it. As entrepreneurs, we did not need to go to an entrepreneurship school, which you can. Then we did not have that privilege. If you have that privilege, you can go there, but then we could not attend an entrepreneurship class or school. So we had to learn while doing it. We joined different organizations that were teaching entrepreneurship. There were so many of them that really shaped the direction of our journey. And by learning from experiences, from failures of other people, from successes of other people, we're able to actually continue our company for the past going to our 7th year this year. And that really, I would say that it's an example of having experience. You don't have to have 10-year experience, you just have to learn while doing. To me, that's entrepreneurship. And we're very excited to be able to continue this journey, and we're looking forward to expand in the region, on the continent, also on the international market. We're working with AliExpress to actually expand on a major global way so that we can compete on the global market, because now it's very, very important to be able to reach other markets so that you can be able to reach a bigger audience and tell your own story. At the same time, solving our community's problems, where we're creating jobs, and we continue to create jobs through our company. So we're not only creating a shoe, but when you buy a shoe, you're actually giving a job to someone. And when you give a job to someone, these are people who have kids who are actually, through working, they're actually changing their lives, and they're changing their communities, they're changing their kids' lives, they're educating their kids, and they're even creating a wonderful or a viable family. So I think I have a few minutes, so I wanted to just tell you that it's possible, but at the same time, you need to go through that little bit of experience and a little bit of suffering so that you can reach your dreams and goals, and make sure that other people also follow you to reach their own goals and dreams. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much for the inspiring. And I've just got one thing: learning by doing. She learned and she's done it. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
I think we'll have you back shortly if people have some question.
Great.
I think most
I'm ready
of them they will
to
ask,
answer.
why did you get money to start? Most of that question come from young people.
question.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And a round of applause for Kevin. And our second guy is really inspiring. He's a founder of Youth Spark organization. It's a Pan-African Development Foundation and a non-profit. He has offices in Nairobi, Lagos, and Boni, in the state of Nigeria. I think you can guess them. He's a Nigerian. His organization has committed to promote positive social behavior, impactful leadership, development of young people. Please, to hear more, welcome on stage, Mr. Raymond Okpani.
I'm so excited, it's already weekend. We keep it 100, yeah, we never pretend.
I think Nigerian like dancing at least.
See that sky level, girl, they're whining different. Girl, I wine so different. Girl, I wine so different. Girl, I wine so different.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, DJ. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to be here finally. Today they were asking questions about the experience and a lot of things, opportunities. Right at the back, I was just thinking about myself because I have a couple of things to say. Maybe from my presentation, you get to now extract what I actually have to say. My name is Raymond Okpani. I'm proudly an African, but I'm living in Nigeria. So I had desires. I want to extract this issue of experience, no experience, degree, no degree, because I have a very remarkable story around that. So I had wanted to be a medical doctor back home in Nigeria, studied well like every other person, and I got to a point where I could no longer proceed because there was no way to go to school. And at that point, what I did was I started teaching. So I learned mathematics alone. I started teaching from my school. So I taught my class. I discovered those people that didn't like mathematics, so I got to teach them mathematics. Soon after, I started teaching my SS1. Later on, I started teaching my seniors, people that didn't like mathematics. When I left secondary school as a senior prefect, I taught for 6 months. It was after 6 months, they weren't paying me, so I got a job in a hotel. I worked in a hotel for 2 years. While I was working in a hotel, remember, I wanted to study medicine. When I was working in the hotel, I got an opportunity to enroll myself in a computer school. So I had to go to computer school. I work all night. I go to computer school in the daytime. After 2 years, I got an offer to go to Austria to do drugs. But against my will, I got this attack on me. So I had to leave the city. I relocated to another city where I got an appointment. I got a job as a computer operator with the knowledge I already had, with the experience I had gotten. So I worked there for 2 years with the local government service commission in my state, back home in Nigeria, and I worked there for 2 years. After 2 years, the work I did with the local government service commission is purely an administrative sphere, which exposed me to grassroots development work, 64 development centers, 13 local government areas. I worked with the permanent secretary. So I get to get another appointment as the special assistant to the head of civil service. I actually was the youngest to get that appointment till date, 22 years when I got that, but something was very remarkable. First was that I didn't have a degree, so automatically I was not qualified to be there. Secondly was that I was not in the civil service, so there was no experience. Nobody could have said he has been in the civil service, all the bureaucracy around that. And thirdly, I was just 22. So what is a 22-year-old guy going to be doing with the head of the peak of civil service? So, but amidst all this, I got to work in that platform for complete 4 years. So I was to the head of service for 4 years in my state. Now, in 2009, I started volunteering for an organization. So, but because, again, as a someone that really, really wanted to study medicine, I was very curious, I was very inquisitive, I wanted to learn more about things. So I didn't volunteer like other people used to volunteer. I had to read more, I had to read proposal, I had to write proposal, I had to sleep in the office to do a lot of things. And I did that for 6 years. In 2015, I decided that, so a lot of young people were beginning to come to me to tell me, Ray, we're inspired with what you are doing this, you are doing that. And I look at them and I'm like, Kai, stop saying this. You've got what I don't have, because I wanted to go to school to get the degree. They told us you must have the degree to succeed. And initially it was exciting to hear people tell me they were inspired, but over time, I started losing taste. So I hated it when people tell me they were inspired, because I look at them, they have degrees, but they were not solving problems. They were actually the people that were causing problems. Their attitudes were not right. They couldn't look at their degree to solve a problem. But here they were looking at someone like me, and they were telling me that they were inspired. So in 2015, I left government. I decided I wasn't going to work with government because I had acquired massive experience. I had been in the private sector for 2 years, local government service commission for 2 years, political appointment at the head of civil service for 4 years. I had been in the NGO sphere for 6 years. I didn't have any certificates. So I decided I wasn't going to work with government anymore. I was boxed up. I couldn't think beyond. I couldn't build my capacity beyond what I wanted to do. So I left to really set a platform to inspire people that are sending them to schools. You have somebody that is giving you pocket money. You have somebody that can pay your house rent. You have someone that can give you money to do stuff. So I had to use my story as someone who didn't have that opportunity, but who a lot of people are beginning to look up to me. I mean, people you practically gamble on my head whether I was a graduate or I was not a graduate. So I get to see people to say, he's a graduate, he's not a graduate. He's a graduate, he's not a graduate. So, but it didn't matter because for me, what mattered was you need to solve a problem. Whether you went to school or you didn't go to school, what problem are you solving in your society? 2015, when I left, was the most, 2015, 2016 was the worst year of my life because I lost everything. I lost a job, I didn't have a house. I almost contemplated suicide. But one day, I had to change my perception about reality. It dawned on me that I was just like a wounded lion. I had nothing to lose. I mean, if I come to you to give me a job, it's obvious you are not going to give me because I didn't have a certificate. But again, what was I going to do about it in the sense that I don't have a certificate? Will my dream now die? No. I decided the dream was not going to die, whether certificate or no certificate. So I began to invest in personal development. So I had to study in the house. I had to read in the house. For the past 2 years, I have not had to sleep more than 5 hours every day. I sleep between 4 hours and 5 hours every day. Some days I sleep only 3 hours because I had to do what is necessary for me, what is required. A lot of people think that things are not possible. But I said, no, things are actually not impossible. The problem is that it's either you know what to do and you're not doing it, or you don't know what to do at all. And you're not opening up your mind to learn what to do. So in 2016, I started up something to build a platform that can inspire young people and connect people to opportunities. Because again, when people are doing stuff at their local area, people tend to box up themselves with the challenges in their immediate environment that they are not seeing the opportunities at the other side. So, for instance, if there is a challenge in my country right now, I'll quickly conclude that there is also a challenge in Rwanda. Meanwhile, here there are also a lot of opportunities. So I decided to set a platform that can connect young people together from different countries. When I started, they said, no, it wasn't going to happen. At the same time, I wanted to come up with a project that was going to be an innovative idea on education that can retool learning. Because at the point I went to the university and I saw what the lecturers were doing, they were not really doing this art of passion. I mean, the lecturer just come and open up a notebook and read, and then he walks out of the class like that. So I decided I wasn't going to go to school. But then I also have to invest in my own self. So what I did was that back home they said it wasn't going to work in my local community. The same project they said wasn't going to work in my local community, I had to bring it up one of the days, kept it for a lot of months where I was thinking about it. And the resultant effect is that between last year and now, in the last 1 year, in 11 months, I single-handedly, in fact, the only thing I didn't do was graphics design. But in 11 months, I single-handedly started up a platform called Youth Spark Pan-Africa that successfully designed, organized, and hosted 3 international conferences in 3 different countries in 2 regions of Africa. And all of the conferences, there was no single support. There was no support from government. There was no support from any individual. There was no support from anybody. And they were all valued over $25,000 US. And we had that in 11 months. So what am I trying to say? Your dream is actually possible if you really want to make it work. Let me quickly stop by saying that a lot of young people are talented. We've got dreams. We've got a lot of things we want to do. But then a lot of people are not willing to open up their minds to assess the opportunities that are available. And that's, again, why I intentionally came up here with this book. It wasn't me that wrote this book, Go Global with Opportunity. I didn't write this book. But I found in this book one of the things that really sparked up my desire to go global. Because people get restricted in their local communities that you think that nothing can work. So I called the lady that wrote this book, the lady that owned Opportunity Desk. I said, see, One of my passion right now is to identify any opportunity that is available anywhere in the world and present it to people that are willing. I said, see, please, can you give me some of your books so that I can take it with me when I'm going to Rwanda? And she gave me some few copies to come to Rwanda. That is also my own way of promoting young people, what they are doing in the local community where they are. Let me stop by saying that nobody is interested in why you fail. Nobody is interested in your process. I just told you guys right now that I sleep only 4 hours every day. It's not important. What matters is that the consequence is that I'm standing here right now. What people want to know is your result. So you must have to do everything possible to be able to succeed. And trust me, when you really, really succeed, nobody is going to ask you about your CV and your resume. They'll ask you about your profile. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Raymond. It's a really pleasure to hear that even if you can work more than 10 years, you can still discover your passion and do it right. That is what Raymond did, and thank you so much. The next person is Rwandan, the co-founder and the CEO of Act of Gratitude. It's a non-profit organization to support Rwandan social entrepreneurs and their social enterprise. He received a donation from His Excellency the President Paul Kagame. He's been awarded by the Queen Young Leaders Award. And today he has a dream to develop 1,000 social entrepreneurs in Rwanda in the next 10 years. Please welcome Jean d'Amour Mutoni.
Applaudissez, applaudissez. Hein.
All right, I'll project my voice. All right, well done. I must start with thanking you so much for giving me this opportunity. My name is Jean d'Amour Mutoni, co-founder and CEO at Acts of Gratitude, or AOG in short, or Ibikorwa Gishimwe mu Kinyarwanda. This organization of ours started in 2011. And mine today is a story of surviving the genocide, escaping poverty, and finally living gratefully on a daily basis. Allow me to take you back in time, September 1993. I was 7 years by then. And in Rwanda, by then, to start primary school, there was a test. There was a school admission test. I like to call it touching your ear. They would ask you to raise your hand over your head, touch the opposite ear. If you touched it, you were admitted. That means you were 7 years old. If you didn't touch it, they were sorry, you were too old for primary school. So 1993, I passed, and I joined P1. Yeah. I would always go to school to obviously pray with my friends and study in between, like many young people. Unfortunately, that didn't last more than 2 trimesters or 6 months, because in April 1994, the genocide started. It took my whole family, and I came out of it as an orphan at the age of only 7. That forced me to go through 6 foster families, with the last one being to stay on a campus, a university campus, when everyone else was going for holidays. That was the former Kigali Health Institute, the now College of Medicine and Health Sciences of the University of Rwanda. We, my colleague, my fellow homeless students, and I were doomed to stay behind when everyone was going back home. We were offered free accommodation by uni, but we didn't have food and hygiene materials. Lucky enough, in 2009, a group of the staff of the former KHI decided to deduct something from their salaries to support us, and we survived that holiday. That particular group inspired me to do something when I graduated from university. And that's how in 2011, 12 young people and I, all graduates, fresh graduates of uni, decided to start AOG, Acts of Gratitude, with the idea of deducting something from our salaries to give back to the community. Today, AOG supports Rwanda's social entrepreneurs through learning, skills training, mentorship, and direct support. We have two programs. One is Ingenzi Social Enterprise Program that helps youth aged 16 to 30 to turn their ideas into social enterprises. Another one is called Social Enterprise Academy, and it helps leaders of NGOs, businesses, and social enterprises to successfully lead their organizations. I'll give you an example of one social entrepreneur we've supported, Lillian, the managing director of Benefactor David Clinic, located in Nyamata, Bugesera district. She graduated from the Kigali Health Institute, the former, in 2012, and decided to start a small dispensaire or small community clinic. In 2012, there were only 4 employees, and they would serve few hundreds of patients per year. Today, she's employing 45 predominantly young people. And they serve 35,000 patients on a yearly basis. And as I speak now, she's working with the authority of Bugesera district to set up her own social impact center that will be empowering women through social entrepreneurship and apprenticeship in order for them to become economically empowered and get access to quality health care. That's one example. There are many examples. Claude is getting kids from street and employing them through sewing, and many others. The dream of AOG, as it's been said, is to build a community of 1,000 social entrepreneurs in the next 10 years. There is no way we could have reached where we are, and we will be able to reach our dream without having great supporters. And today I want to use this platform to thank many of those, starting with His Excellency Paul Kagame, who donated to us in 2015 before many other people wanted to believe in us, and he donated to rent the place we are using to start our training center. Of course, I want to thank Queen's Young Leaders for the award. I want to thank Unlock UK, who is another partner, Queen's Commonwealth Trust, another partner, and most importantly, AOG volunteers who donate on a monthly basis, and they are now 310 of them. To end this, I want to say I was born in poverty, but I refused to die in poverty. And I want to tell you that I believe personally that a single secret to that is hard work plus smart choices. You don't work hard, something is going to be wrong with you. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think we need to all to give back to our society. And let me take this opportunity and say to Jean d'Amour, I think I will pledge $100 every month from now to your society. I think this is the right cause when we give back to our community. And finally, for this first round of our speakers, we have someone coming from le pays des hommes intègres. This is Cameroon, I just call it. C'est pas homme d'intègre? No. I think in the Western region, every country is required to say that we are bigger. But I think Cameroon is a good country. He's a leadership strategic advisor of top of and hundreds companies and CEO in his country. He's a trainer and a deputy CEO for ELM Institute. During his career and his passion, he has a great heart to transmit to other people what he knows. And this guy is called Perrin. Please welcome Perrin Kouakou.
Africa tonight.
Everybody.
Today,
Everybody.
today, oh.
Everybody.
Mommy,
Everybody.
oh, daddy.
Everybody. DJ, 1 second. So this is how we are going to do. I give the lead, you follow my step. Even if you don't know, just follow. Okay? So GJ 5. Hey, please, there are people seated there. Everybody, we need to feel the energy in the hall. So GJ 5, 4, 3, 2, go!
Pass me the lighter. Africa tonight. Today, not today, oh. Mommy, oh, daddy. On a tous validé, oh. Get it back. Alaji Bayasa. Get it back. Hakuna Matata.
Okay, thank you. You know, Africa is the actual continent that produces the highest amount of young people. And the particularity about young people is that they're the people who carry the energy. And we really need that energy and that dynamism to transform our continent, to make things great again. I am Perrin Kouakou. I come from Cameroon. And I am here to share with you my little journey. My journey started many years ago. After I graduated from high school, I had to go to the university. You know, when you want to go to the universities, there are many choices. And I was selected in the only English-speaking university of my country. At the time, was very prestigious. But I was selected in sociology and anthropology. So in my family, in my neighborhood, people say, oh, great, you have your advanced level. Why are you going to the University of Buea? Why are you going to read sociology and anthropology? Okay. When you read accounting, you become an accountant. When you read marketing, you become a marketer. But when you read sociology and anthropology, is to become... Are there Cameroonians in the hall? Yeah. So in Cameroon, they say sociology hang up. To say, will that study give money? You know. And I was very frustrated about that choice. And my first few months in university was not that really exciting. But I had the chance to have very inspired lecturers who opened our mind about the subject. But where does the story become interesting? While going to school, I was very involved in social activities. I got involved in an organization called Junior Chamber International. And in that organization, it's an organization that gives opportunity for young people to create effective change in their communities. And as a JCI member, I had the opportunity to develop many skills. I had the opportunity to work on projects, to lead people, to develop a vision, to share passion, and more of, in JCI, we had what we call the JCI University, where they gave us tools on how to transmit message to adults. So I went through that path. I became a trainer in JCI. I graduated from university, and I continued to serve JCI as a volunteer. And this is where the story becomes interesting. Sociology and anthropology, understanding people, understanding the society. A trainer, what does he do? He understands people and he makes them become better. So upon graduation, many of my friends or my peers were like, we are going to do social services, or wait the day we'll have a big opportunity to have the big job. And my commitment, I ask to young people of Africa today, please, from high school through university, even if you don't have the opportunity to go in an institution, take the opportunity to volunteer. Because when you volunteer, you have the opportunity to develop some skills that later on you can sell, you can present to people. You know, when we graduate, you see a job opportunity, they say you must have a bachelor plus 3 years experience. And in most of our educational system, you don't have the opportunity to blend the two. Either you only have your degree, and you have to make many years again to create an opportunity. And in the warm-ups, many people pointed out that employers love to recruit people with the experience. So if you don't create the opportunity where you volunteer, where you do things that will develop the skills, then it will be challenging for you to compete in the job market. It will be challenging for you to set up as an entrepreneur because you need a learning laboratory. And for me, voluntary service was that laboratory. And after I graduated, 3 years later, we started up our company. It was in consultancy. And we started giving leadership and management trainings to junior staffs. And we had many senior CEOs, senior directors in our country who were very impressed. But you, how old are you? 25, 24. But when did you had the time to have all the experience to come and consult? You know, in Africa, most consultants had first the career path, and after they go to training or they go to consulting. But me developing my career path and me too having the skills from this organization to help how to transform people, how to make people better, it was very easy for us to have those companies with us. And in a lapse of 4 or 5 years, we were able to train top leadership position people in our country with not the 10 or the 20 years of experience we see in CVs, but with the experience we had the opportunity to develop in our organizations. So if I want to give a takeaway today, President Kagame said, opportunity doesn't come to us. We are the ones to go to opportunities. As young people of Africa, create your opportunities. Volunteer. You know, volunteerism, nowadays in my country, when you ask a young person to volunteer, he'll be like, it's a form of modern slavery. But for those who are very vested in African culture and African history and all the rest, we see that one of the greatest values of our forefathers is that they were ready to serve. They were ready to volunteer, serve in the family, serve in the neighborhood, serve in their family activities, and from there, they could do the great things they did for us. So young people of Africa, it's important you create the environment where you have the opportunity to develop your skills. And it's also important to invest on you. Most of us in Africa would like to complain. I don't have money, my parents didn't pay this, the ABC syndrome, accusing, blaming, condemning. But in each challenge we face, there's always a small door of opportunities. So focus on the opportunities that are beside us. Focus on creating an environment where you have the opportunity to do what you want to be, and at the end, you'll be as competitive as the rest. So we are sometimes sad to see young people who have a master's, sometimes a PhD, let's say in accounting, and he has never been a treasurer in a small organization where he practiced that skills. Someone does marketing, and he has never been a public relations officer or a marketing officer of a voluntary organization where he has the opportunity to develop that skills. So I throw on you all that responsibility of creating that environment where you develop your skills, where you go for your opportunities, and I know, and I see in this hall, that the future of Africa is in all of us here, and I count on you, and I'm waiting you all in the top of Africa. Thank you very much, and I will be happy to receive your questions.
Thank you so much, Perrin. Let me invite the other four speakers, Kevin, Raymond, and Jean Damo, to join me on stage for a Q&A session. Just don't leave the room. The next empowering person, she's just 18 years old. Guess, she's from where? From where? From Cameroon, from Rwanda, from... Please, don't leave this. We have just 10 minutes Q&A session. If you want to ask something to Kevin, to... Okay, they are young. They prefer to stand here or to sit there. It's up to you. You may be seated there. Let's sit there down. And yeah, I ask Madam President to lead this session. Thank you.
Vous avez tous entendu de belles histoires de la part de nos jeunes amis et amis. Je voudrais donner la parole de ce côté ici. Vous pouvez poser les questions en anglais ou en français.
Merci beaucoup. Je vais parler en français. Je suis Bernard Bouchiri. Je viens de la RDC. En fait, ma question s'adresse à Monsieur Jean Damour. C'est là que ma question s'adresse. Il dit que leur entreprise aide les jeunes à la formation donc des jeunes entrepreneurs. Alors, il a annoncé un projet de la formation de 1000 jeunes Rwandais. Ma question est de savoir, est-ce qu'il n'y aura pas moyen d'intégrer les jeunes d'autres pays dans cette formation? Parce que ce que nous sommes en train de prôner, c'est le développement de l'Afrique entière. Alors, il n'y aura pas moyen de commencer à intégrer d'autres jeunes Africains des autres pays pour qu'ils viennent participer dans ce genre de formation, parce que l'entrepreneuriat est vu aujourd'hui comme la solution aux problèmes des jeunes Africains. Merci.
Merci pour la question. Je vais encore prendre une série de questions et on va procéder aux réponses. De ce côté-ci.
Hey. Oh, this is working.
Bonjour, bon après-midi à tous. Je m'appelle Pacifique Linjanja de la RDC. Et comme je vois tous ceux qui sont là-bas, ceux qui nous ont présenté quelque chose, ce sont des entrepreneurs. Et j'aimerais savoir, parce que j'ai un problème personnellement, c'est que j'ai constaté que chez nous en Afrique, nous avons un manque de données. On n'a pas de données statistiques. Ça veut dire, quand on veut entreprendre, on ne sait pas exactement où taper. Parce qu'on ne sait pas, on n'a pas la tendance statistique. Alors j'aimerais savoir comment vous faites pour vous débrouiller et vous en sortir alors qu'il n'y a pas de données scientifiques. On ne sait pas vraiment, c'est peut-être en tâtonnant ou bien je ne sais pas comment vous faites. Merci.
Another question in this part.
Thank you. I'm Augustine Chiza. I'm the IEEE volunteer and the volunteer for the Global Leadership Summit. And my question, first one, goes to the lady. I want to know, first, how did you get the capital? You had the idea, but how did you manage to get the capital to start the company? And what was the source of those money? And also I want to know, how did you deal with the taxing, and if your company is now, or your products are now having the standard mark? Yeah, so my second question goes to the boy from Nigeria, the great man. We young people, we first have the ideas, we have the talent, we have the energy, but we want to get things so quickly. We want to get rich quickly than finding out what will meet into that journey. So my question is, how can we help, or how young people can have that patience? The patience itself, how can it be created so that you think, or you are prepared on everything, a single obstacle that you will meet in the journey? Thank you very much.
Une dernière question vers l'arrière.
Hi everyone. Hi there guys. Yeah, so my name is Luqman Yasingile. I come from Somalia. I have just one point to make across. The reality shows that all the guys who made presentations here have done something through their skills. But in the reality, most of them have gone to schools or academic universities, and in the end, none has made anything about it. So the question is, how can we bring together the vocational skills with the academic challenges we all do take place, so that you can get a society that is transformed, and a society that is sustainable to do businesses that can transform the continent and take it forward. Thank you.
Une dernière question.
Bonjour, merci de la parole. Je m'appelle Bouinja Tembeone Miriela, je suis de la République démocratique du Congo. Ma question s'adresse à Monsieur Jean d'Amour. En fait, j'ai toujours été passionnée par l'enfant, surtout l'enfant vulnérable, celui qui naît dans des conditions où il est enfermé et où il ne peut pas se développer. J'ai même créé une organisation, une petite organisation, où lui offrir un espace sain où il peut œuvrer et développer son potentiel. J'ai été touchée par une de vos phrases qui disait que vous êtes né pauvre, mais vous avez refusé de mourir pauvre. Et alors j'ai une question pour vous. Par quel moyen comptez-vous atteindre ces enfants dans les villages, qui ont des rêves, mais qui n'ont pas des opportunités ou des occasions de développer ces potentiels? Et quel message vous leur donnez à ces enfants qui rêvent grand et qui croient qu'ils ne peuvent pas y arriver? Merci.
Maintenant, on va passer aux réponses. Nous avons encore de jeunes inspirants après cette première session. Donc, ne vous lassez pas. On ne fait que commencer.
You want to answer first? The question that was asked to you.
Hello. Okay. Let me answer the one that was directed to me, which is the great man there that was asking me how we can be patient. I believe he's asking from the perspective of a fellow countryman. I think that everything has to do with personal discovery, right? What do you really, really want? It doesn't take a lot of people to change the world. It takes only one person that is willing, to start doing something. People have given a lot of excuses. People give excuses. You were saying something about people want to get rich quicker and all that. I think both of us, I myself and you, should start doing something that should start changing the narrative. One of the things that I did when I started getting on this journey was that subconsciously my association started getting tamed. But at the same time, I also noticed an influx of people that wanted to invade my circle. It's not a matter of how can we be patient. It's a matter of you and I who flew all the way from Nigeria to this place. What are we willing to start doing right now? We think that people want to get rich quick. People want to get rich quick. Have we really given them an alternative? Have we given them an alternative? Because if you don't give people an alternative, I am giving an alternative by building myself outside the school environment. See, let me tell you, I am well read. I can decide to go back to the university. And I will come out after 4 years with certificate. I mean, it's statutory. Once you enter into the university, 4 years, you have your certificate. I can decide to do that. But I've decided to stay in my corner because almost everywhere I would have used certificates to work, I have worked almost in all of those places. So it's not about a matter of being patient and people getting rich quick. It's about us who have distinguished ourselves. We are giving them an alternative. Coming back home to tell your story, I went all the way to this place. The first time I went to Ghana, I entered Ghana with 2 of my legs with 6 cedis. 6 cedis was 480 naira. 480 naira is less than $2. 2 of my legs entered Accra. I couldn't go back. But right there, you have to solve a problem. I think that if you focus on the problem you want to solve, the problem is that we're all distracted. You get distracted and then I learned a story about the cheetah, and I'll stop with this. The story really made it, because for someone like me, it's very, very easy for me to get distracted. I have a lot of work experience. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. But someone told me about the cheetah. He said that the difference between the cheetah and the lion is focus. And I discovered that focus, clarity, facilitates speed. If you are clear about what you want to do, you can determine the speed at which you want to go. I don't want us to go back looking at the problem. There are already a lot of problems. I want us to go back looking at what are we going to do about this. Again, people have done so many things over the years and it is not working. So what alternative are we bringing? Let's not focus. Yes, a lot of people, you won't stop the fact that people want to get rich quicker, but you can stop the fact that in your community, you can begin to influence people to see that they can begin to solve problems. Because if you inspire someone to start solving problems, their passion, they will get engrossed solving problems, that this issue of patience will begin to come. Today, I'm happy right here seated. I have people that, close to 30 persons that I single-handedly spoke about this youth conference, and we got to mobilize them from 9 countries. It wasn't because I wanted to, it was going to be a quick stuff. So you and I should decide that when we are going back home, we have work to do. And we should not also say we want to do it in the next 1 day, next 2 days, next 3 days. If it's not working, then leave it. No, because this is about human beings. It takes a lot of time to change human beings. Thank you.
Okay, so you know, Cameroon being a bilingual country, permit me to answer now in French. Notre ami de la RDC a dit qu'il a observé que nous avons un profil d'entrepreneur et pour pouvoir se lancer, l'entrepreneuriat étant aussi une autre forme de science, est-ce que nous avons eu des éléments statistiques, des données statistiques pour pouvoir se lancer dans ce que nous sommes en train de faire? La vérité, c'est que dans notre environnement, surtout je prends le cas de mon pays, le Cameroun, c'est difficile d'avoir des données statistiques fiables. Et on sait sur le plan politique pourquoi est-ce qu'il n'y a pas toujours toutes les données. Mais il y a ce qu'on appelle l'instinct de l'entrepreneur. Il y a certaines choses que l'on fait beaucoup plus par instinct que par des données statistiques qui sont accumulées. Ça, c'est le premier point. Le deuxième point, c'est qu'il y a aussi des sources primaires d'observation. Deux fois, comme on dit souvent, tu n'as pas besoin d'aller à Harvard pour observer que, je sais pas quoi, que la bouteille n'est pas bien placée. Mais par ton observation au premier degré, Tu peux identifier un besoin, tu peux identifier des choses, et quand tu pousses la réflexion dans ton environnement en fonction de la taille du marché que tu peux conquérir, on travaille à saisir l'opportunité. Donc voilà un peu à peu près ce que nous on a fait dans notre environnement. Je vous ai dit, on a un cabinet qui accompagne les entreprises à améliorer leur performance en matière de leadership et management. Mais on a aussi observé qu'il y avait un grand besoin en matière d'assurance dans notre pays. Et on a fait nos analyses, par instinct, on a créé récemment, en venant au Rwanda, on a pu avoir l'agrément. Donc, dès le mois prochain, on lance une nouvelle affaire qui sera concentrée sur l'assurance et la réassurance au Cameroun. Now, there's another brother who said, there's what the school gives to you as experience, and there's what you have to have as skills in order for you to compete. The truth is, as young people, most of the time we focus on some specific things or skills and putting aside the others. You have people who think that for them to succeed, they need to be the first in class. They need to have the highest GPAs. They need to have the biggest degree. But socially, they're very poor. They don't know how to greet people. They don't know how to be with people. They don't know how to communicate with people. They don't know how to connect with people. Then you become an issue. That's why in my speech, I strongly advise young people to really volunteer. Why? When you are a student in school, they give you the tools and all the rest. But when you go in an organization, the organization is a setting. There's a president, there's a board, there are projects and all the rest and all the rest. And interacting in that social circle prepares you for the reality that you are going to face. And when you work as a volunteer, be you a graduate or be you a dropout, when you work in that social environment, you will be working on projects, so you learn how to talk to people. You learn how to do reports. You know how to present. You learn how to speak in public. And all that will contribute in building you and will make you a better person to compete, either as a job seeker or a better person to compete, either as an entrepreneur. So that's the answer I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt the panelists. If you should be just brief, 1 minute, because we are running out of time, I will appreciate. Thank you.
OK. Il y a des questions qui ont été dirigées à moi. Je peux parler français, oui, mais je préfère faire mes réponses en anglais. Parce que j'ai fait tout mon travail en anglais tout le temps. Alors, je me sens bien en anglais. The first one was to take AOG and the offers we have to other countries across Africa. I want to say that it would be a great idea, and we would love to expand to different countries. And of course, we'll end up doing it in the future. There are dreams already that we have started exploring. However, I want to say that there are similar opportunities in almost every country in Africa. For instance, the Social Enterprise Academy we are running has hubs in Zambia, Malawi, and South Africa, which means you can find the same skills from there. And the Ingenzi Social Enterprise Program you're running, we're hoping to expand to other African countries. At the same time, while we are here, we are serving people from across Africa. We have an interesting lady called Gloria Rukomeza from DRC, who is a refugee here, and she's come to our program and graduated 2 days ago. She's hoping to start leadership clubs across high schools, and I find that a great sign of African solidarity. You are a refugee in a country, and you can get empowered from there. The other question that was directed to me is about vulnerable kids in remote villages. I was born in a very, very remote village called Irwanda, which is in the south of this country. And what happened is life brought me 2 different opportunities. And I'm telling you what we can do as being here. Every time you learn about an opportunity, share it with whoever you think needs it. And that's what I do all the time. And the other thing is, when you see an opportunity, learn to grab it. And tell that very person, as he said, that opportunities will always come, but it's up to you to embrace them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll answer the gentleman's question. But as someone who asked about university, why people do not need to go to university, I would just say that it's not just a certificate. Once you enter university, you have to kind of understand why you are there, and don't just pursue the certificate, pursue what the lecturers are telling you, I think. One thing that I really learned from university was, because I was very passionate about design, and one day the lecturer came in and they said, the first thing they said is, design is a problem-solving process. And that really stuck with me until today. Every time we're creating something new, either in our factory, either at our retail stores, everywhere, we're thinking, what is the problem we're solving? So when you go to university, don't think about the certificate, think about that one thing that can really change your life. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to go through those 4 years to learn that one thing. And someone asked me, where did I get the capital? I was going to say I didn't have capital, but I have learned through the past few years that I actually did. The capital was myself and my colleague who I started with. Her ideas and my ideas together combined were capital. I cannot just say they were nothing, because I remember when we received an investment from an international investor, the first thing they asked was like, how much money? We're like, we didn't really put any money. It's just our ideas together that came together to create what we had. And when we're evaluating our company, we were evaluating our sweat, all the nights that we spent sleepless trying to create this company, and we put it in money, in numbers. So our sweat, our hard work, our sleepless nights, after a few years, they became an equivalent of not a small amount of money, and even today is even, I think, bigger. So I'm hoping you were hoping to hear that I had $10,000. No, I didn't. I honestly did not have any money at all. I remember at university, I went to the market, bought a sewing machine. It was around $60,000 Rwandan francs, which is like $100, which was like a saving I had, and I just, that is some money that young people today take to the bar and just use for one night. So I wouldn't say that I didn't have capital, but in terms of money, no, I didn't have any money. It was just myself, my colleague, and ideas that I got from different people.
Thank you so much. Allow me to really interrupt this Q&A session, because we're still having other speakers, but this is just about connection. Please share a business card. I know most of them here can still have questions to ask you. Reach them there where they sit and collect their business card. And thank you so much for your intervention and for your response. I think we are just going now to run on speed. The next program we have, it's a gala dinner, and I have to use all the NH room to create one big room for our tonight event. Then, our next speaker, I met her this morning. She's very inspiring. She just turned 19, just for a correction, a month ago. And she's from India, but she's also a brand ambassador of Rwanda to India. She has inspiring talk tonight. Please, Mrs. Naisa Sangavi, welcome on stage.
We want everyone to stand up. It's been a while. give
I think
it
I
a
like that.
chance.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nesa Sanghvi. I am the official designated brand ambassador for Rwanda to India. My job consists of making people aware of Rwanda, because a lot of the times people have misconceptions of what this country is. It's unfortunate, but people still think of Rwanda as the Rwandan genocide. And they also think of Rwanda as Hotel Rwanda. And it's been 25 years since that happened, and people still don't recognize the Rwanda today. And my job is basically to tell people that I have been there when I was 16 years old, and I completely adored this country. Thank you. So I want to take a moment to thank my mother, who is in the audience. She has been my support this whole time. She has traveled from India to come here just for me. She's a doctor, and she left her patients. I hope they're all right. And I want to thank the Minister of Youth for having me here, and Mr. Ernest Ravamukyo, who is the Rwandan High Commissioner to India, who gave me this designation. I wanted to start off by when I first came to Rwanda. I was 16 years old, and I came here because I was reading a book called Things Fall Apart. And it basically, from Chinua Achebe, and it basically spoke about Nigerian culture and its complexity and how different it is from European idea and literature. It was kind of a revolutionary idea that, like, you know what Europeans wrote on us was their perspective, but we have our own perspective, and we're going to write it out in a book. When I came here, my friends were kind of doubting why I was here. My relatives were not okay with me coming here. They always told me that, make sure that you don't get any diseases, and you're going to have like people that are not going to be that warm, and it's going to be chaotic out there. Don't go out there. But I believe that there was a lot of misconceptions in the world, and nothing in the world is black and white. It's always on a gray scale. You will never find anything on this planet that would be black and white. Even the things that you think are black and white are not. And so I wanted to come here and see for myself what this country had to offer. I started working with a nonprofit called Aviga Agahozo, and I worked with widows of the genocide, and I learned the power this country had. It was resilient, it was just pure beautiful. And I really wanted to make sure that people in India learned this perspective about Rwanda. So I went back to my school and I started talking to my friends and to just people that I could approach, and I knew, like my professors, and I told them that I wanted opportunities to like go outside and talk about my experience, because I feel like I'm young, so people want to listen to me. It just comes with age, and I thought that I should take advantage of where I am today. So I started talking about Rwanda, and the next year I found myself again in Rwanda. I was working with Mirimar at the time and UNHCR on refugees in Rwanda. I came here as a 17-year-old, and I wanted to do research in malaria for the refugees, to be part of this holistic development to economically include these refugees into the Rwandan economy. I worked there for about a week, and every single night I would stay up till 2 a.m. because I couldn't find a solution to my problem. How do I decrease malaria prevalence in this refugee camp? I tried every single lens you could think of, from biological sciences to public policy to international relations to finance to accounting. I looked at it in ways I don't even know where I was going. I think I invented a few streams here and there. But over time I learned, and I was very frustrated. I didn't know what I was going to do. I couldn't conclude my thesis. And someone looked at it and they were just like, this is so multidisciplinary, I think this is amazing that you can look at one thing from so many multi-dimensions. And for me, I didn't like that because I feel like I didn't have a conclusion. It was so multifaceted, I couldn't narrow it down to one single thing. So I called up one of my best friends in India, and I was just like, I'm frustrated. I can't find a solution to this. And I think one thing that really stuck to me is that
I know that a lot of the times we're all frustrated and we don't understand how to navigate our lives through. It is hard because we are living in systems within systems, and there are rules and there are complexions, and you cannot like pass through one gate. You always have to like bow to something. But if you look at yourself in the perspective of Global I, in that camp that I was living in, there was a 15-year-old who was pregnant. There was a father who couldn't feed his child. There were women who were having 5 kids because they thought that if they don't have 5 kids, they wouldn't be mothers. There were so many people that were struggling, and I wasn't okay saying that I was frustrated. And I think that really puts people into perspective. I know a lot of the times people think that, you know what, I am at the lowest point in my life and I don't know how to get past it. But I think it really is important for you to look at other people and people around you in like a global scenario and think about the fact that there is someone out there that is struggling more than you. And if they don't give up on life, you owe it to them to not give up on your life and to continue forward and to move forward with it. Thank you. And ever since then, I had the privilege to meet global leaders, including His Excellency Paul Kagame and the Prime Minister of my country, Narendra Modi. And I have been able to talk to these people, including industrialists like Mr. Ratan Tata, about Rwanda and what I think about it and how I think that like I am truly honored to be part of the vision and the resilience this country has shown. I right now study at the University of Southern California, Los Angeles. I'm a human biology major with a minor in entrepreneurship. And I feel like the one thing that everybody needs to understand is that a lot of the times we think that we're wasting time learning something, understanding something, or talking about experience, like gaining experience sometimes can feel like a waste of time. But wasting time is a capitalistic idea. You cannot waste time. You can only waste time if you think of time as limited, precious, and a commodity, which time is not. Everyone should live in time rather than thinking about wasting time, because you cannot waste time. And I think that is very important for everybody to realize that you need to live in the moment, take it step by step. You can't keep shooting for the moon and say, I'm going to land there somewhere. You have to take it slowly, pace by pace, and build something that you are proud to be alive for. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the inspiration and for the big heart, actually, we have for Rwanda. And we hope you the best. And we are here just to support as Rwandan. Our next speakers, I know they are all men. They can work and turn 7 minutes into 2 minutes because they can. One of them is the founder and the CEO of Imigongo Art Center, Mr. Charles Ashimwe. Please come forward for your talk.
In the interest of time, we have to do faster, and we'll dance later. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to tell you my story. I'm the founder and director of Imigongo Art Center, which is a social business doing art as a way to find jobs in rural communities in Rwanda and perhaps beyond in Africa. We started last year at the end of April with about 10 people, about 7 artists and 3 support staff, and now we are about 50 people in total. That's like 5 times growth in 1.5 years. But my story here is not so important because I have 2 people that I want to tell you about. One of them is called Frank and Aline, one of the artists we work with. They were born in a district which is not far from where I work from. It's called Kirehe district. They dropped out of school at early age because of financial issues. They couldn't have any opportunity ahead of them. But they got together in a small group. They started working on this art called Imigongo. And by the way, Imigongo is a Rwandan traditional art which is based on geometry, color, and modeling, and is known for using cow dung. It's very colorful. So they go together and they begin working on these artworks and trying to sell them on local markets, sometimes one and off clients coming from here and there. And when we started the art center, these guys joined us. And when they got inspired by what the future could provide, Frank now is pursuing a driving career. He managed to get his provisional driving license. He's trying to do a practical driving license, and he will probably be, he wants to be a tour guide. He wants to learn English. He's so inspired. Aline wants to open a gift shop in the future. She's working so hard towards that. And why are we doing this? In a rural community, far from here, we strongly believe that art brings inspiration. And if there's any people who need inspiration, they're the people who live in rural areas, where electricity is just got there recently, where roads are just coming. I think most of you know that in recent years, many people have been moving from rural to cities, the rural-urban migration thing, because they're seeking inspiration. Many people believe they're looking for jobs, but there's a need for inspiration, what you can do there, what you can learn from there. So we believe strongly that if there's art in rural communities, if there's something to look up to inspire you, to bring passion into your heart, that the future of Africa is going to be even brighter, and the goals for Rwanda and other African countries, they're going to be achieved even faster. And I would like to encourage my fellow Africans who are here to look out in your communities, to go there. It's your home. For instance, where I'm working from is where my parents have lived for the past 20 years. And so it's my role as an educated young man or man, or someone who has some skills, that it could be faster if I do it now and in that particular place. Now, do I believe that this is a very huge challenge that maybe is really hard to crack? Yes. But do I believe that it's possible? Absolutely. This is possible. And you know, I would like to challenge you that this is our problem. It's no one else's problem. And the other thing that is real is that poverty is very real. People need jobs to pay for their school, for their medicine, for their thing. But who is going to make that happen? It has to be an entrepreneur like you, who has a small idea, who can start with a small team like Frank and Aline, who have some skills and passion, who are going to make it happen. And I would like to, if you are visiting Rwanda for the first time and you're hoping and planning to coming on to the eastern part, please stop by. I promise you we'll make you be happy there. We'll make it really a very good stay for you. Thank you so much for paying the attention. God bless.
Thank you so much, Charles. And I hope most of our guests here living abroad don't leave without buying Imigongo art. Believe me, that is the greatest art you can see in Africa. And the next speaker, is an entrepreneur and a founder of Barcode Multimedia. He's also a co-founder and the president for Association of Young Media Entrepreneurs in Abuja, and the chairman of Save Our Tomorrow campaign. Please, let's hear from Bello Shagari.
What's the plan now? What's the elevate? Orimi kole abane. How bad Bella want to suffocate? With the bad doing the jellificate. All I told me, I'm not partying with you. Oh, I told me, I'm not partying with you.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you, everyone. Manager people, where una day? Una day? Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here in Rwanda, the country of President Kagame, the driver of modern Africa. Please, a round of applause for President Kagame. Well, I'm very curious to answer this question of experience or no experience. Well, the question is, who are you? Are you an entrepreneur or you're someone looking for employment. Because if you're an entrepreneur, then you are in charge of your business. You're a boss. You don't need experience to be an entrepreneur. But indeed, you need experience to be employed, because that's a requirement for employers. Because, for instance, what would you say about someone like Mark Zuckerberg? Does he have any experience before he started Facebook? But he's in charge of his business. He's the richest young man in the world. But how about Mark Zuckerberg being employed? Do you think he will make a good employee? Will he make a good employee? I don't think so. Because he does not have the characteristics of an employee, but he has the characteristics of a boss, an entrepreneur, somebody who controls his business. Well, what I want to talk about here is about self-discovery. How do you discover yourself? I'll tell you how I discovered myself. Well, as a young man, I started a very curious young man. I started using my father's typewriters to see how they work, because I was very curious to print one thing or another. And that points me to computer age, because it was 1997 that time. So quickly, my father, when he discovered that I'm interested in typewriters, he understood that I was leaning towards the computer. So he sent me to computer school as a holiday training, just to train for a month. And when I came back, he bought me a new computer, and I was using computers so much. Well, fast forward to when I got to my secondary school. When I went to my secondary school, I also discovered a skill of mine, which is inherent, which is of writing poetry and rap songs. So one day there was this social gathering, we call it social night, that has been organized by secondary schools every Saturday, where people will come and perform arts and their talents. And having been that I want to perform. And the first opportunity I was given, by the time I went to the stage and people were all over, and they called my name, the MC called my name, calling me to come on stage, I was nowhere to be found, because I ran away. I was very nervous and scared to be on stage. And the senior student sent for me, and I have to be found and brought onto the stage. And I came. When I came onto the stage, that was my first time ever to perform before an audience. So I want you to help me clap, 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 clap. For me, this is be extraordinary, willing to be, feeling me, I'm legendary. My soul so strong, got me feeling like Dawn, living by me. Depending on worshiping Raheem, living my dream. My dream is so big like small, so make a big dream and it's gonna be small, dream and believe. And I bet you never you fall, you're getting it all, you even getting more than you call. All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Well, that was my first time, and I rapped. And then I realized that I was a rapper. And I had that, I had that inspiration. But you know what? That only lasted when I did my secondary school, and I was done with my secondary school, and I did my university. I was still a rapper. And I realized I was not a rapper anymore, because I have discovered another skill, which is with my computer skill. I continued even in university. But I was using my computer skill to complement the art skill that I've discovered about myself. So I was making videos of myself. I was recording my songs by myself. So I was able to cater for my needs all by myself. So when I finished secondary school, when I finished the university, and I came back home, I decided not to work for the government. because I didn't know what I was going to do when I started working for the government. And after all, the government itself is complaining for jobs, that they couldn't create jobs. And it's becoming a problem, all over. This is not just a problem for Nigeria, where I'm from. It's a global problem, unemployment. And why do we have unemployment? The reason why we have the problems of unemployment in Africa is because of so much dependence on government. We have depended so much on government that the government has to provide solutions for ourselves, for us, I mean. But if you remember, there is a profound saying by former US President J.F. Kennedy, who says, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. So I came up with that mindset. In fact, I had problems and I could solve them myself, and I was happy with what I was doing. So with the little skills I acquired, I felt that I want to start my own business. How do I start my business? I didn't have anything. I didn't have any money. Nobody even believed in my business. You know, typical African parents, they don't believe that you start your business. They rather have you work in the government. So I became stubborn at what I want. And I started writing proposals. I learned that from the internet anyway, from the Google, it's there. So I started writing proposals. I wrote several proposals and there was no response. Nobody could allow me to do anything. Until once, I got lucky. My governor was going to run for a re-election and he was looking for a way to sell himself. And I was already versed in media. And I've written him a proposal before, which he didn't respond until the need came and he realizes that he needed my service. He needed my service. And he gave me this opportunity. And in my proposal, what I did is that I made sure that I put all the things that I need that would enable me to produce a documentary for him. The camera, the lighting, and every other thing that I needed. In fact, even the the studio that I'm going to use, I wrote for it. And he approved of it. He approved to me at that time 2 million naira. And he gave me 1 million naira to start with. And I used that 1 million naira to go and buy my camera, buy my lighting sets, and then hire a studio. And I started Barcode Multimedia. That's how I started my business. And before you know it, I'm done with the documentary, and I've produced a documentary for him, and he paid me my full money, 2 million naira, and that's how I continued expanding my businesses. So, but in the course of my documentaries, I was making a documentary about Nigeria, Nigeria's history, because I was so keen into, Nigeria history and knowing what my country is about. So in the course of my documentary, I'm opportune to meet leaders of the country, all former head of states of my country, starting from General Yakubu Gowon, Buhari, Obasanjo, and everyone. So, but in the course of my documentary, I also happened to discover that I'm not just a filmmaker, I also discover a new passion for politics. Because these were politicians. And I was speaking to them, and they were inspiring me, telling me things that they have done before, things that they have gone through, and I felt that as a youth, I'm also supposed to play a role in my society. So that also leads me, fast forward, I don't want to waste a lot of time, to also get into the National Youth Council of Nigeria, where I was a chairman. National Youth Council of Nigeria, I started as a chairman in my own state, and before you know it, there is a form that's been sold for a general election, a national election, and I ran for the office of the president, of which I became. But I'm telling you, it's one of the most difficult elections that one will run. But how did I achieve becoming the president of the Youth Council? I became the president of Youth Council just after joining Youth Council in 3 years, from chairman to president, just in 3 years. How did I become the president? Because I was able to harness my talents in media, my experience, to sell myself to those who will elect me as a better candidate, and I achieved my aim of becoming the president of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. So I will leave you with these last words. The most important thing you should do is to be able to discover yourself, create value for yourself, and someone will come looking for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bello. The last speaker of the day, he's a friend and a neighbor not far from Rwanda. He has a 10 years experience to expand and empower young through innovative program that inspire leadership, build confidence in their, and they achieve in one way or another the voice to influence policy. Please welcome on stage Mr. Omar.
You can have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy to be in this beautiful country of Rwanda. It was a dream coming here. I would like to start with a story, as I always do whenever I go to a stage. A beautiful young woman one day got up with only 3 hair on her head. She had a beautiful long hair before, beautiful curly hair, just like you sisters have it now. She got up one day with only 3 hair on her head. Now, what she did was actually beautiful. She got up in the morning, looked at the mirror, and saw 3 pieces of hair. She decided that she would do her 3 hair. She never thought differently. She never talked about all the things people will say about her. She never doubted anything. She just said, I'll just bridle my hair. The next day, she got up with only a couple of hair, 2 hair. And then the next day, she got in front of the mirror and she said, I'll just divide my hair into 2 and go with the day. She enjoyed the day as well. The 3rd day, she has got up in the morning with only 1 piece of hair. One more time, she said, I'll do my hair as a ponytail. She enjoyed the day as well. The 4th day, she got up with no hair at all. And you know what she said? She said, I no more have to do my hair. She spent the day very well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is to show us that attitude is everything. Life is 20% what happens to us, and 80% how we react to that thing that happened to us. I was born in a city called Boroma in the northwestern part of my country, in poverty and hardships. The Civil War started just a few months to my birth. And I've seen the crippling challenge of the post-Civil War era. It was hard living with a hostile nature of Civil War society. Life was hard. Young adulthood was hard. Schooling was hard, as there was no proper schooling at the time. Young people were known for low self-confidence, less educational achievements, and as you can imagine, a low level of, a very grim view of their future. I started my journey with that hardships and went through them like a lion. At that time I was growing up, I could feel and see the challenge that I had to face, and I had to find a way to live with that, to adjust to these complex challenges, including depression, anxiety, family conflicts, and substance misuse. Everything you could imagine was so simple to be distracted with. My mother told me one story one day, as she was the true living example of what it means to be a hard-working African woman. She used to sell sweets on the streets because there was no more jobs to do at the time, as the Civil War destroyed almost everything. I looked it up to her as I was growing. She would go out of the house 6 in the morning. I would come back later in the evening. But that never taught me that life is not there for me. It actually taught me if I do well, if I work hard, if I think positively, if I take the hard way, my life will be easy. And if I take the easy way, my life will be hard. I grew up with that, ladies and gentlemen. So one thing that changed my life was the story I told you. Attitude is everything. All of these hardships and the problems and the challenges that I saw early on in my life never, ever convinced me that life is not there for me. I never took that as a reason for not being good. In fact, I took it the other way. I took them the reason that I should be somebody, that I should be somewhere, that I should do something that can make my mother proud sometime. I didn't take them as an excuse. I took them as a reason. I made them the reason of my life, and I made these challenges the driving force towards my purpose. It was so hard living with these challenges, but then I found I had to find a way to adjust with them, go through them, not just only go through them, but grow through them as well. So I actually felt interested in mindset development programs, psychology, leadership, and all the necessary skill set that is needed to transform somebody's life, whatever state they're in. So I studied so hard, attended international courses on coaching, though internet was barely available at the time. I could read good books, I learned it from the gurus. I tried all I could do to get my head right, because all of the results, beautiful results we are looking for in life, it starts within our head. If you get your head set very well, life is going to be beautiful. If your head is not set well, everything is going to be wrong. You will see that in every opportunity you will see challenge. In every light you will see the dark spots. When your head is set well, you will see light in the gloomy and the dark nights. You will see light at the end of the tunnel. And that's how my life started, getting my head right. So I had to use myself as a litmus paper, put myself in the game, play hard, and do something that can inspire myself and my fellow young men and women. So I had to do programs, started my journey, and my journey started as an inspirational speaker at a very young age, back in 12 years back in the school. When I started that, challenge appeared. You know, when the ship starts sailing, that's the time waves are felt. The depths of the waves are felt when the ship is in the sea. When the ship is on the shore, it doesn't feel the waves. So when you go into the game and start doing what matters to your heart, that's when challenges rise up. Now, I come from a very conservative society with a very closed culture that's not more accepting to new ideas. Life coaching, mindset development programs, and leadership skills for young people were not utilized at a time in my community. So I started utilizing them. You can imagine a very conservative society. You are implementing an idea on a very conservative society. They see everything which is not right with that. They see it's not possible. They see you can't do that. All people will doubt you. Sometimes you'll doubt yourself. All the challenges. I took it because I took leadership, and I took the responsibility upon myself to bring change and opportunity through all of those challenges. I always would tell my friends when they doubt me and tell me all the ways that it's not possible for me to succeed in life and my message is not going through, I would tell them, no, you're seeing the problems, but I'm seeing the headline I could make out of these challenges. My story is going to be a story of an inspiration. My story is going to be a phenomenal African story that young people across the continent and across the world will celebrate and will use it as a reason to look up to, as a reason to hold their heads high, as a reason to feel inspired to, as a reason not to give up, as a reason to stay in the game, as a reason not to look back. That was my story. I started a Youth Leadership Center, which we, with my team, and we set up a culturally sensible and understandable life coaching and leadership sessions for young people, focusing on mindset development programs, because we believe it all starts with mindset. It's all about the attitude that matters. That has taken me a very long trip, a trip which actually helped me discover myself and my talent. I remember I was in the classroom one day in the school when my teacher got me up and asked me a question. I was actually staying somewhere else in my mind. I was present physically, but my mind was out. He asked me a question and said, like, get up. I could not find the response of that question. I don't even remember the question the teacher asked me that day till today. And then one word came out of the mouth of the teacher. He said, sit down. You know nothing, young man. I sat down. And my mind got up. My intuition told me that I only don't know the question, not everything. So I got up. I said, can I speak, teacher? He said, yes, sir. Get up. What do you have to say? I said, I only failed to respond to your question. I did not fail at anything else. Ask me another question. I'm ready now. And the teacher said, young man, you're a gentleman. Sit down. You're smart. That day, I felt a greater sense of liberation and self-consciousness that if I wish to achieve something and pay the price right now and in advance, I would do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that journey, which started almost 30 years back down the way, has taken me to more than 7 countries in the world. To this day, I'm one of the most requested keynote speakers in my homeland. I've traveled to 7 countries. We spoke to millions of young people across the continent and the world. And my program has created an immense impact on the lives of the young people in Africa, particularly in my homeland. So many young people have found life-changing support from my programs. And that doesn't only make me feel proud, but it also makes me feel the responsibility of being looked up to by other fellow young men and women. I would like to close with 3 blueprints that I think must be used for any endeavor. I understand that we're all youth leaders from the continent. These 3 blueprints would definitely change your ways if you apply it. I applied it myself, and they work it very well for me. Number 1 is, time is now. So many times we fail to start the game, to start working, to start thinking differently, to start to putting ourselves in the playing field. Time is now. There is no perfect time than now. The best time to start something is right now. Start it. So there's a beautiful Somali word for that. It's called wa markagi. Can you say it again? Wa markagi. It's your time. Start it now. The best time to start something is now. The best time to change is now. The best time to take leadership is now. The best time to commit to an action is now. Blueprint number 2, which worked very well for me, is you always have to go with a team. We live in a fast-changing world where you can't be something alone. His Excellent President Paul Kagame said the other night that if you want to go far, go alone. But if you want to go high, go alone. But if you want to go far in life, go with people. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to master the art of teamwork. Teamwork makes a dream work. Find a way to add value to the people and find a way to utilize their competence and their skills. Blueprint number 3, ladies and gentlemen, says, when you put yourself in life, when you start doing what matters to your heart, what matters to you and to your family and to your community and to your continent, when you commit the action, when you start in chain, challenges will arise. Don't stop. Don't believe it's the end of the game. It's only a check-in point. You know why cars have a brake? It's to stop them from the risk, to let them feel that you can't be holding the accelerator all the time. I'll finish with one word, ladies and gentlemen. If there is a will, there is always a way. I love you, Africa, and thank you very much for listening to me.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you
Merci,
so much,
Mohamed
Omar. Thank you so much, Mohamed, our last speaker tonight. And I think he's a great leader.
Thank you very much.
And he's been inspiring millions. I've seen him some video on YouTube.
Thank you.
I think you have more than 3 million viewers.
People love my speech, and I love them back.
Thank you. So actually, this is the end of this session. We have to apologize that we don't have a Q&A session
Can
due
we
to
give them
time.
2 questions, please, if you don't mind? I understand I have touched their hearts for a little bit, and they have something to say. Let's give them one.
Know. I know we should have all of them asking you questions.
Oh, okay.
But, I know he has a lot of business cards here. We want to take one group photo with speakers and all of us here.
Okay.
We want to show to the world that there's a group of young people today gathering to Kigali, speaking loudly with their voice and try to change this Africa as a country. Do you allow me that? Yes, please. Let's welcome the whole speakers
here.
And all of us. Just here. The speaker will be in front. All of us will be on the back and have this great
Nous invitons
photo.
tous à nous rejoindre pour une photo de groupe.
And marathon, please. So, some young guys, please, and come and help us for the pictures, please. And also, there is an announcement. We know most of our guests are leaving tomorrow. If you don't mind, you go through the accreditation. You can leave the time you are going, your hotel, and we can arrange for transport for you. Thank you so much. And,
Je tiens tous à vous remercier et à remercier le ministère de la Jeunesse et notre président national, son Excellence Paul Kagame, de nous avoir permis de nous offrir cette opportunité, d'avoir cette plateforme pour connecter, pour échanger, pour inspirer et partager nos expériences. Bienvenue à tous pour la photo de groupe et vous permettre de dire que vous êtes Afrique de demain.
Man Youssou Ndour maa ngi woo bépp doomu Afrika ñu bokk xalaat bokk
excuse me,
gis-gis
all the speakers can sit. All the speakers can sit, please. All of us on the back. The speaker of today.
Et nous terminons sur une très belle chanson de notre artiste Youssou Ndour qui parle de l'Afrique avec un beau message prometteur pour la jeunesse africaine.
nit bu dëgër dana war a fekk nga bëgg sa réew te sàkku ndimbal ndimbal na ca fekk loxol boroom.
We still miss some speakers. Where is
waaw na la fekk joo
okay.
ak sa jumtukaay bëccëg bi gaaw na ñett du bëre.
Et alors on va tous dire I am Africa quand on va prendre la photo.
Okay.
I am Africa.
Okay, these people can really come down so that we can see the people in the back. We can see people in the back.
We are Africa.
We don't see you guys. Where are you? Okay, just wait. There's a guy with a. What is the JCI flag? No, somewhere back.
Keep on walking.
Okay, just wait. Take two people who can.
We need the flag. We need the flag of the JCI flag.
So there's a flag on the back. Not in the, do you want it in the front? Okay, that's fine. No,
Je voudrais aussi qu'après, certains vous faites de la place pour avoir la photo de notre équipe technique.
Non, pas en bas comme ça. One here. Okay, good.
Alors on dit tout le monde, I am Africa.
I am Africa. I am Africa.
Une deuxième fois, I am Africa.
Thank you so much. Thank you all of you for this.
Merci
great...
beaucoup à tout le monde. Merci. Applaudissez-vous.
Le Premier ministre.
I don't have any business card here. So when are you?
Pleasure meeting you, Florence. Where are you from? Where's Florence?
You do?
I'm a businessman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's a really pleasure being part of this.
Keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes.
Would I get some pics that you took when it's a group of I give.
Man Youssou Ndour maa ngi woo bépp doomu Afrika ñu bokk xalaat bokk gis-gis bokk yéene sans frontière boole sunu am te liggéey waratuñu nangu kenn ñëw di ñu féewale bul jiite réew foog ne la fa nekk yow yaa ko moom njiit bu dëgër dana war a fekk nga bëgg sa
Hello.
te sàkku ndimbal
If there's any who has lost a phone, please can you see the moderator? Also, I'm kindly seeking a marketing agency in Rwanda. If there's any marketing agency in Rwanda, I would like to talk business. Thank you.
And people with headphones, les gens qui ont traduction simultanée, veuillez le remettre derrière. The people who had headphones, please take it in the back.
Walk together, keep on walking. Cheikh Anta Diop, Kwame Nkrumah, Stephen Biko, all you people.